Hello, everyone. Hope you can hear me. Let's see. Testing out the controls. Looks like you can hear me. All right. Hi, again. I am Pastor J.J. Conway, and you can find me on the web at kingstownfamilylifecenter.org and also jjconway.org. Someone who claims to be a victim of sexual assault by a leader in one of my organizations took great issue with the fact that I'm still in the organization even after hearing their story. So this video is my response to our interaction. First, I want to let every one of you know that as one of the founding cadet members of the Air Force Academy Cadet Sexual Assault Hotline and a first-year member of the Cadet Sexual Assault Victim Support Group, I have been working with victims of military sexual trauma for almost 25 years. I take it very seriously. I am excited to report that I have followed the careers of several of the victims that I've assisted, and while not everyone has had the same level of success, most are living fulfilling lives. So all too often, in these cases, victims, female and especially male, are made to feel like they are to blame for their situation, for their assault. And if you're a victim watching this today and you feel like you're being made or that you're being blamed for your assault, I want to assure you it's not your fault. It's never your fault. It doesn't matter what you wore, what you drank, what you said, what you did up until the time that you said no to an unwanted sexual advance. Should you find yourself in this horrible situation, please consider reaching out to RAIN. It's the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, and they have a fantastic website with many resources, and they also operate the National Sexual Assault Hotline, which is 800-656-HOPE. So that's 800-656-HOPE, or in numerical form 4673. All right. You know, recovering from sexual assault abuse is a process, and that process, it looks different for everyone. Healing takes time. The amount of time is determined by the particulars of your situation, your makeup, and what you bring to the table, and what may have happened before this particular incident. It takes time. Every case is different, and you can go to RAINN.org, RAINN.org, and get equipped with some tools that can help you to recover, help you navigate the recovery process. So regarding the church, like I said, I take allegations of sexual misconduct very, very seriously. And as many of you might remember, when some serious allegations were brought up against one of our bishops, I was the original voice in that general council meeting that brought up to the lawyers, what must we do to take care of the victims? What is our responsibility to the victims? Under advisement of legal counsel, our leadership was satisfied that there was nothing more we really must do, but they did authorize myself, Minister Tracy Coleman, and Minister Erica Hammond to develop a program to educate pastors and victims on their available resources and best practices to help protect the church and protect potential victims of predatory practices. Recent developments have precluded us from actually presenting any of our ideas to the board, but I fully expect that should the church remain in present form, that we will be soon given that opportunity. So now that you understand just how very much I care for and support the victims of abuse, whether it's sexual or financial or even bullying and gossip, okay? Now let's talk about why I would remain in an organization that has these kind of leaderships, allegations of sexual abuse against its leaders, okay? The very first thing is that allegations are just that. They are allegations. Nothing has been proven in a court of law, and a lot of these allegations are just now being made known to many of the members of the church over the last couple of months. Now, look, I've observed firsthand, like I said, I've been working military sexual trauma for almost 25 years. and post-traumatic stress syndrome for a number of years. So I've observed all too often that these kinds of allegations never get the validity they deserve in a court of law. So I'm not saying that the alleged victims are wrong, and I'm not saying that I don't believe them. Okay? What I am saying is I think that the more reasonable course of action, rather than a huge backlash and ranting against the church and losing the temperance that the Spirit has worked in me over the last 20 years, is to give the investigation results time to be incorporated into legal proceedings, give more victims the opportunity to feel comfortable coming forward if they're really feeling passionate about adding their voice to what others have alleged, okay, and giving time for us as leaders in an organization that we've been in for 20, 30 years to observe how the organization handles all of that I just mentioned. I've taken a year of law, so I understand that information may not be as forthcoming as we would like because there are legal complexities and due process of law and protections of flow of information so that the next steps can be done in a proper method. I understand that. I also understand that withholding certain information could be evidence of guilt. Personally, I think it's too soon to tell. And so to you that are hurting today, to those of you who are victims and you're hurting, I am so sorry if this deepens your pain. If the fact that people like me who have been your friends are not jumping immediately on board and dismissing an organization that we've served practically all of our adult lives, and some of us since we were young children, please know that I pray for you unceasingly, and I would never purposely add to your suffering. In fact, I pray that if there are victims, if there are bona fide victims, and I have definitely seen some victims of some gossiping and bullying and things, and some financial manipulation on the part of some of our pastors. I mean, I've witnessed those things firsthand. In those cases, and in any sexual abuse that may be out there, we do know of some that action's already been taken against. It is my prayer that the Lord will restore you, strengthen you, vindicate you, and have vengeance for you. So I'm not asking you to agree with me and other pastors who are praying and waiting. I'm simply asking you to understand where I'm coming from. I'm the only pastor left by my pre-jurisdiction. I'm the only jurisdictional trustee left in my pre-jurisdiction, and I am the jurisdictional secretary. I really do feel like I owe it to those believers who had nothing to do with any of this and have been serving the Lord for many, many years to provide Spirit-filled leadership until some of these issues can be resolved. Do we have issues that need to be resolved as an organization? Absolutely. I just mentioned to you some of the things that I've experienced firsthand, some of the things that I've witnessed happen to others firsthand. And these dignities, I think about the indignities that I experienced even as a divorced and remarried pastor that I still continue to suffer, a couple of years later. So do we have some things where we could be a little tighter as a Holy Ghost filled church? Absolutely. And due to my military travels, I have visited many of our pastors, and I have quickly and directly voiced my opinion whenever I felt God's people were being bullied, abused, stolen from, or extorted. I have cared for those victims with prayer, not with gossip. I've cared for those victims with personalized attention and encouragement. I've reached out to them to assure that their spiritual needs are being met. Many of you will be watching this, and I know that you are lifting me up for prayer, even as I've been lifting you up for prayer. And I have spoken out to the Board of Bishops on many, many of these instances that have been resolved because someone like me stood up and spoke up. Okay? So we do have systemic bias towards a certain group of people whose skill sets are very desirable or who have a certain charismatic attitude. I understand that. Those are things that we need to address. And finally, as I've already communicated to the board, there are sinful behaviors on the part of past board members that were not addressed in accordance with our bylaws. And while I understand giving grace, I think we as an organization must also now be wary of the impact of giving such grace in these circumstances. These issues need to be addressed on a systemic level, and my hope is that they will be addressed quite soon. The final thought that I want to leave with you, I got to admit, I've been very disappointed in behavior on both sides of this issue. Many have said, well, God told me to do this, and God said this, and God said that. And then when I ask for clarification on both sides of this issue, so I'm not pointing fingers either way, but on both sides of this issue, when I ask for clarification or when I ask for more details or when I ask for more understanding of the experience that's being shared with me, I get cussed out. I get ranted on. I get raved on. Those aren't fruits of the Spirit. One camp says, well, we're not going to do any victim shaming, but then they shame and they attempt to bully pastors like myself who are prayerfully watching to see what's going to resolve. On the other side, you hear threats and cursing and all these evil communications, and I'm like, it leaves me wondering, okay, who really has the Holy Ghost here? Because that's what I'm seeking to follow, is the leading of the Holy Ghost. I'm looking for the cloud to move, and it may move tonight. It may move tomorrow. It may move next month. It may not move at all. But until that cloud of fire by night and until that pillar of cloud by day moves, I am staying where I'm called to serve, where I'm having an impact in my community, and where I can encourage the brethren who are left behind by those who've lashed out in anger. I want to see what God will do. It would be easier for me. It would really be easier for me if one side of this argument would keep their side of the street clean. But for a while, experiencing errors and lies and just bold-faced lies and bullying on both sides. So I'm just watching and waiting and praying and fasting. All right, so if you've watched this long, please know that I love you and I am praying for you and I am asking God to lead you. If you've decided to move on because you felt led to, or you were a victim of such experiences, or maybe you think it's the right thing for your spiritual growth, then please know that I still love you, and I'm praying for you, and I'm asking God to lead you and guide you. If you've decided to wait and see before making up your mind, please know I love you, and I'm praying for you, and I'm asking God to lead and guide you. If you've left the church out of anger, fear, guilt, or perhaps like Saul, you think that tearing up the church is what God has called you to do for his glory. I may not agree, but I still love you, and I'm still praying for you, and I'm still asking God to lead you and guide you. And finally, if you're staying in the church out of fear or guilt or because you want a position, I still don't agree, and I still love you, and I'm still praying for you and asking the Lord to lead you and guide you. Ultimately, I'm not tied to position or power or money or fame. I've had those and lost them and had them and lost them, and things have come and gone, and life is what it is. I just want what's best for God's people, and I hope you do too. I'm JJ Conway. Y'all can find me at kingstownfamilylifecenter.org. You can also find me at jjconway.org. Take care, y'all, and be blessed.